Hi, Mrs. Alexander here, and I'm going to be teaching you your math lesson today. Today for math, we are learning to make 6, 7, 8, and 9. Your success criteria will be I can use counters and a 10 frame to show ways to make 6, 7, 8, and 9. Your teacher for this lesson today, your virtual teacher, is Miss Mikowicz. I will be conducting the lesson.
Hello and welcome. I am your virtual teacher, Ms. Mikowitz, for Classroom Math. Today we will wrap up Lesson 11, making 6, 7, 8, and 9. Before we get started, make sure you have a pencil, a red and yellow crayon, counters, and workbook pages 219 and 220. If you do not have access to these pages, please follow along in our presentation here. Your remote teacher will pause the video now if you need to go get them. In this final session, we will use counters and drawings to show different ways to make 6, 7, 8, and 9. Can you describe what you see here? You might say there are fruits. You might describe the fruits by saying their names: apples, oranges, and bananas. Can you compare the number of each fruit? Count to see how many fruits there are. Let's start with the apples. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 apples. Now let's count the bananas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 bananas. Finally, we can count the oranges. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 9 oranges. Look at the apples and bananas. The 8 apples and the 7 bananas. Which group has more? Which group has more or is greater? Which group has less? Your remote teacher can pause here so you can talk about which group has more, the apples or the bananas, and then about which group has less, the apples or bananas. Great discussion. There are more apples than bananas. We can also say that there are less bananas than apples. Let's take a look at the bananas and oranges. Which group has more? Which group has less? Go ahead and share out with your class, and then we'll talk about which one has more and which one has less when we come back. Great job! There are 9 apples and 7 bananas. 9 is more than 7. 7 is less than 9. So there are more oranges than apples. Or we can say there are less oranges, there are less bananas than oranges. For this part of the lesson, you will need 9 counters. Remember, when using a 10 frame, we fill in the top row first from left to right. Then we go to the bottom row and fill in from left to right as well. Using our 10 frame and counters, we will show number combinations of 9. Be ready to share how many red and yellow counters you used to make 9. Then, see if you can show a different way to make 9. I will share a number pair when we come back together. Your remote teacher can pause the video here so you can make a combination of 9. One combination I used to make 9 was 8 and 1. I used 8 red counters and 1 yellow counter. Now show different combinations of 8 using 10 frames and only 8 of your counters this time. Be ready to share how many red and yellow counters you used, and then see if you can find another way to make 8. I will share a number pair when we come back together. Your remote teacher will pause here while you work on making a combination of 8. One combination I made to show 8 is 5 and 3. I used 5 red counters and 3 yellow counters. Now, let's make number combinations of 7. You will only need 7 counters. Be ready to share how many red and yellow counters you used. Then, try and show a different way to make 7. I will share a number pair when we come back together. Your remote teacher can pause here while you work to make a combination of 7. One combination I made to show 7 is 6 and 1. I used 6 red counters and 1 yellow counter. Finally, make 6 on the 10 frame using only 6 counters. Be ready to share how many of each color you used. Then, try and find a different way to make 6. I will share a number pair of 6 when we come back together. Your remote teacher can pause here while you work on making a combination of 6. One combination I made to show 6 is 3 and 3. I used 3 red counters and 3 yellow counters. Do you think there are more ways to make 9 or 6? Why? Share your thinking with a partner. If you said there are more ways to make 9 than 6, you're correct. That's because 9 is bigger than 6, so there are more number combinations you can use to make 9. When you are filling in the 10 frames to make 6, 9, 8, and 7, remember to fill in the top row first, then the bottom row from left to right. For this part, you will need a red and yellow crayon to draw the counters and a pencil to write how many of each color you used. Let's do the first one together. How do I know what my total is? It is the number above the 10 frame. So for this 10 frame, we are making a combination of 6. Use 6 counters. Your remote teacher can pause here while you make a number combination of 6 counters. Now you will write how many red counters you used and how many yellow counters you used. I used 2 red counters and 4 yellow counters to make a total of 6. Awesome job. Now you will do the same thing to make 9, to make 8, and to make 7. Remember to use the right number of counters for each number you are making. Your remote teacher will pause the video here so you can make those number combinations. When we come back together, I will share some ways to make 9, 8, and 7. Good job making different number combinations. Take a look at my combination of 9. I have 5 red counters and 4 yellow counters. Does yours look the same as mine? If I have 9 and you have 9, does it matter how many red or yellow counters we have? No. Both answers are correct as long as we have a total of 9. What about the number combination for 8? I have 6 red and 2 yellow. Do you have the same number of red and yellow counters in me? If we both have 8, but a different number of each color counters, both ways are still correct. We looked at the different ways that we could make 7 in this lesson. We know that there is more than one way to show 7. As long as you have 7, the number of red and yellow counters doesn't matter. Good work, everyone. Using your counters, show 2 ways to make 9. Write the number pairs on the line. Your remote teacher will pause here while you work independently. One way to make 9 is to show 5 red counters and 4 yellow counters. A different way to make 9 is with 8 red counters and 1 yellow counter. We came up with a whole bunch of different kinds of ways to make 6, 7, 8, and 9. Keep exploring and keep practicing all the ways we can make up those numbers. Fantastic job, everyone.
Okay, students, that finishes our math lesson for today. You can now go into your class kick lesson and complete your quiz. Bye, have a good day, and we'll see you soon.